Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, y'all. Um, Welcome to day 3 of week 4 of our Doctors Thriving Outside the Box Beyond COVID series. And by now, you know who I am. I'm Dr. Maisha. I am an NLP and business coach helping doctors and medical professionals create profitable businesses from what they already know. So, for those of you who are just joining me for the first time, I started this series at the beginning of the month because I had a lot of docs who I saw in my groups who were coming to me, who were in my communities wanting to know about what else is there. What is there else that they can do? I mean, we know that the system is broken. We know the system is creating a lot of stress and burnout, and a lot of docs just want to jump out altogether. And my goal is to allow the pathways, or to show the pathways that docs can and other med professionals can take that allow them to use and leverage the knowledge that they have and that they've spent so much money to get, so that if you still really love clinical medicine, that you can actually stay in a clinical capacity, whether it's straight clinical or clinically adjacent. So week 1, we talked about starting your own telemedicine practice. Week 2, we talked about the cash-based model. This week, we're talking about coaching and consulting, which is clinically adjacent and in some respects, non-clinical, depending on which pathway and niche that you choose. So before we jump right in, for those of you who are listening to me live on Facebook, go ahead and comment and let me know that you're here. I love to see that you're here. And then those of you who are listening to me live on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can be updated whenever I release these videos and updates. Okay. So now, just to jump right in, we talked about yesterday. So just to back up, this week we're talking about coaching and consulting. Now, coaching is a little bit more robust of a topic to talk about, in my opinion. Now, maybe some of the consultants out there are saying, "Hey, no, that's not true." But I guess because I'm a coach, for me, it feels like it's a more robust conversation to have. So yesterday the first day we talked a little bit about the difference between coaching and consulting. And then day 2, which is yesterday, we talked about what defines a good coach. Like, what is it that defines a good coach, and what do you need to be thinking about if you want to become a coach in terms of the skill that you need to have? And so today I want to talk a little bit about educational pathways, because I get a lot of questions about types of programs, or do I even need to certify to be a coach? Now, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that will call themselves coaches, but have not had any coach training. And, I feel like those people are not actually coaches. They're more mentors. They may be more consultants. So we have to be mindful of the use of the word coach, right? Like I told you yesterday, there's the pure coach model, and then there's a hybrid coach mentor model. And then there's mentorship. There's paid mentorship. There's courses, there's masterminds, there's other stuff that are not necessarily considered coaching models. Okay. So if you really want to coach, whether you want to coach in a group setting or whether you want to coach in an individual setting, I highly recommend you do a coach training. It's essential if you really want to be effective as a coach. And the reason, and we talked about this yesterday, is because the coaching, you can't approach being a coach like you approach being a doctor. They're 2 different skills, they're 2 different mindsets, they're 2 different animals. So if you really want to be an effective coach, I highly suggest coach training. All right, it's essential. And there are a ton of trainings out there, which can make it confusing about, well, which one do I choose? And what I'll say is, you choose based on what type of coach you want to be. So if you're going to be a health coach, you might choose a health coach type training, health coach geared training. If you're going to be an executive coach, you might choose an executive coach type training. If you're going to be a business coach, you might choose a program that has that focus of business coaching. Now, what I will say to you is that there is one style of coaching that I feel spans across all of those, and I'll share that with you in just a second. That covers all of the skills that you need to have to be any type of coach. And then we'll talk about that. But before I get to that, there's a question that I always ask. That is, should I do an ICF or non-CF? Should I get ICF certified, or not, or does it matter as long as I do a coach training, right? What is ICF? It's the International Coach Federation, and it's probably one of the most well-known accrediting bodies out there, and a lot of programs that claim ICF accreditation are affiliated with that process. But there are also other certifying bodies, other accrediting bodies that are just as valid. Two of them being the International Association of Coaching, that's the IAC, and the other being the ADNLP, which is primarily what I affiliate myself with, the American Board of NLP Hypnosis and NLP Coaching. All right. So while there's a lot of attention given to the ICF and the International Coach Federation, and a lot of programs that come out of that are good coach programs. There are some programs that are inside the ICF that put out coaches that don't have that skill of coaching. They just are putting people through, and they're, unfortunately, they don't have the depth of the skill. And then there are levels to the ICF certification and IAC certification, as well as the ADNLP as well. So you have to decide, how far do you want to go with this? So I could go on and on about the coach training programs, but for a limited time, while many coaching programs do go through the ICF, there's really no rule that says that you have to take this path. Furthermore, taking a non-ICF accredited program does not mean that the program is not a good one. You just have to look at the competencies across the various bodies. And what I mean by competencies is like, what are the things that, and you all already know this because we had competencies in medical school and our medical training, but what are the things across the board that a lot of these coaching accrediting bodies feel make one a good coach, and they are pretty uniform across the board. Okay, so when you look at those competencies, then you look at the program, whether it's ICF certified or accredited, or whether it's NLP accredited or IAC accredited. If they have the competency, then you're safe with the training. All right, because it's about the skill more than anything else. Coaching is not a highly regulated process, which though some might view as an issue, but I think that, there's two sides to that coin, right? You have the sort of accrediting body, and that creates a little bit more politicalness of it. And then you have programs that have the competencies, but are not necessarily accredited by the ICF. You get to choose your pathway and your opinion about the matter. This is not for me to create that debate. Now, I will tell you that, given that I've been trained inside of ICF accredited programs, as well as trained inside of the NLP model, I choose now to certify people inside of an NLP-based coaching model, because not only do you get the coaching skills inside of NLP, which stands for neuro-linguistic programming. And for those of you who are wondering what the heck is that, don't worry, it's coming. I have a whole series that I'm going to be explaining some of the principles of and giving you some principles of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming. But this NLP-based coaching, it a lot of times there are some additional tools, additional skill sets that come inside of these NLP-based coaching programs. All right, so you get all the competencies of an ICF accredited program, and with some additional NLP-based skills. And that's why I chose this particular model to start my own coach certification program, my own NLP hypnosis training certification, NLP coach training program, because of those additional when I was in private practice. I did this type of model with my patients. It was amazing. And so I chose to go all the way and become a trainer and a certifier myself. So in the month of May, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the main principles of neuro-linguistic programming, and you'll learn a little bit about that model. However, That's my primary coaching model. And it's been a game changer in the process. All right. So we've covered, a bit today. I wanted to primarily distinguish the accrediting bodies with you today, so you kind of know these are the various pathways that you could go down to certify as a coach. Definitely, like I said, I am biased. I have a preference for the NLP-based model. And yes, I also, in addition to coaching doctors and starting their business, I also help and train and certify them to be coaches if they should choose that path. All right. Knowing the different coaching models in certifying boards and coach trainings is imperative because it'll help you choose the right training pathway for you. And that's why I wanted to bring this live today, specifically on coach education. Remember, depending on what type of coach you want to be, there is a program for that. Remember, look at the competencies of the program. And if the competencies of the program match any of the competencies of these other bodies, coaching bodies or coaching accreditations, then you're safe. And finally, consider a model that's outside the norm. Now, I'm a disruptor, so I'm always going to step outside the box. That's just who I am. So I invite you to consider an outside the box option to add some additional skills. Even if you're already a certified coach, bringing NLP to the space could really deepen, quicken, and make your results even more profound. So that's all I want to say about that today. I want to hear your takeaways from today. I want to hear your questions and your comments. I always love to hear from you, and stay tuned, because tomorrow we're actually going to delve into consulting. I know probably people who have been wanting consulting from the get have been waiting patiently. So tomorrow we're going to delve into consulting. And of course, if you are super serious about starting your own coaching practice, your own consulting practice, direct primary care, cash-based, integrative medicine, telemedicine, whatever type of practice, and you need a little boost, a little help, a little support, a little accountability, and moving that forward more quickly, I invite you to schedule a strategy call with me. It's free. And you can do that by going to drmaisha.com/meet me. It's right there on the screen, but it's not clickable. So make sure you put that in the URL, and it'll take you to my calendar. And I invite you to check out MedE University's Business by Design membership that I just started. I took all of my curriculum and I put it inside of a comprehensive low monthly membership. And you get a 7-day free trial just by going to medeu.nextlevelphysicians.com. And of course, if you want to know a little bit more about any of these topics, I am doing a webinar tomorrow night. Just comment that you want to know a little bit more about that webinar, and I'll send you the link to register. It's called Coaching, Consulting, and Cash-Based Practices. We'll cover a little bit more in depth about all these things that we talked about this week and some of the previous weeks, so that you can have a little bit more grounding about which pathway you are choosing. All right. So as always, I love to do these lives because I love to get your responses and to provide value to you. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Remember to share this with someone who you think it'd be beneficial to. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on our consulting live. All right. Y'all have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. Namaste.